Indeed.
Welcome to the Grizzled Geek Podcast, episode 97. I'm Mike,
I'm Doug.
and you're going to notice something a little bit different about tonight's podcast. One, it's going to be way shorter than a normal podcast. Two,
Yeah.
it's pre-recorded because I'm not here tonight. I'm out planning for a perfect weekend, a magic weekend, as I send my wife to Washington to visit her family. So I'm all alone in the house, and there's nothing to do. It's going to be crazy. What about you, Doug? You were last week. I had Matt filling in from our brother from another podcast, Absolute Geek, because you were out.
I was in
fun?
Disneyland.
Disneyland.
Yeah, I went to Disneyland. Yep.
Everyone wants to know how the Star Wars ride
came
is.
in from Texas. It's amazing. Holy cow. Rise of the Resistance is brilliant. It is worth the time and effort to get a ride. That being said, when Genie Plus comes out and you can do the individual ride selections, I will pay money to get on that because it is a pain in the ass to get on it, and I'd rather just fork out some dough to ride it when I want to ride it.
Yeah.
So
sounds like a plan.
But it is super cool. They also added a new scene to Star Tours that's the Rise of Skywalker. So there's a scene where you crash your Star Tours Star Speeder 3000 or whatever it is into the ocean planet that the Death Star is on, and you go through the Death Star wreckage, and there's the creatures that are in the trash compactor that you have to escape from, and then you go get involved in the Battle of Exegol. So It was pretty cool. That was really well done. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Lots of other cool stuff. I rode the Web Slinger ride. It's okay. If you like those kind of shoot 'em up game rides, it's pretty cool. It's got cool 3D effects and a little Spider-Man story.
Nice.
Where you build self-replicating robots that
go
out of control. You have to help them stop them.
Nice. Well, folks, thanks for tuning in tonight and listening to us. We really appreciate it, especially all you new listeners out there in podcast land. We invite you to come on over to youtube.com/The Grizzled Geek and check us out either live. It's a lot of fun live when we do it, unlike tonight.
Yeah.
Or check out some of our pre-recorded stuff. Or if you're into gaming and that kind of thing, check out our other channel, The Grizzled War Master, where we talk about tabletop gaming, especially Age of Sigmar. So if you're into that, we have a podcast every week after this one at 7:30 over on that channel. So make sure to check that out. Also, keep an eye out. We're on episode 97, coming up on our 100th live episode. And it's going to be a special one. We're going to have some special guests. It'll be the return of our very own Kirsten on episode 100. So in just a few weeks, guys. So we're excited about that. But, Doug, speaking of Disneyland, did you hear about the change to the Roger Rabbit ride that they're doing?
Oh, yeah. Jessica Rabbit's going to be the kind of the star of the ride.
At first,
I didn't hear a lot.
Pretty much in the beginning, if you remember, she's only in the trunk of the car, and then when they removed her from the trunk, and everybody threw a fit because they thought like, oh, they're doing it because she's too sexy, or damsel in distress kind of thing. And I'm like, well, that's kind of her character, right? But they didn't do it just for that. They did it to give her a bigger part in the ride. So now she got a complete makeover. She's a part of the detective. Instead of Roger Rabbit trying to save her. She's part of the detective trying to stop, the weasels from, using the dip. So she's been replaced by barrels of dip in the trunk of the car.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
So
I got to be honest. I have not ridden the Roger Rabbit ride in decades, probably.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I rode that ride. I barely remember what goes on in it. I barely remember the movie, honestly.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be upset about changes to the Roger Rabbit ride.
Fair enough.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's whatever.
All right. So let's talk Shang-Chi. Well, kind of. First off, this is pretty much the majority of this is going to be our review of Shang-Chi, our long-awaited review of Shang-Chi. Long-awaited because Doug and I had not had a chance to get out to theaters to see it until just recently. So now that we have
get to see it in IMAX.
Yeah. We get to see it right, just a little over a month
Yeah.
before it debuts on Disney Plus on November 12th. So we got to see it in IMAX. It will
Yeah.
it will premiere on Disney Plus on November 12th as part of their Disney Plus Day, which has turned out to be a huge. They're dropping a whole bunch of stuff on Disney Plus that day, including Shang-Chi. Jungle Cruise will be available. A new Disney Plus original movie, Home Sweet Home Alone. An all new
Mhm.
original series of shorts from animation, Olaf Presents, right? So then it'll be
Okay.
domestic Disney Plus streaming debut of favorite shorts from the animation studio Frozen Fever, Oscar-winning shorts featuring Paperman, Oscar-nominated Mickey Mouse shorts, Get a Horse, and more. Plus a Pixar animation short called Ciao Alberto, a new short from The Simpsons that pays tribute to Disney Plus's marquee brands. Uh, the first 5 episodes of season 2 of The World According to Jeff Goldblum will premiere on that day.
Oh, all right.
A special celebrating the origins and legacy of Star Wars legendary bounty hunter Boba Fett, and a
Nice.
special celebrating the Marvel Cinematic Universe on Disney Plus with an exciting look towards the future. So this is where we're going to get our preview of
That's
a lot
cool.
of upcoming Marvel series for Disney Plus.
Cool.
And Dope Sick, an original series starring Michael Keaton, which will be released in international markets as part of the Star General Entertainment content offering. So Disney Plus Day indeed, November 12th.
Yeah, it sounds cool. November
Uh,
12th. All right, cool.
this is the largest single drop of content for Disney Plus since it started.
And
So,
that is a Friday. Interesting. Okay.
yeah. So,
No show that day. We're going to be binging Disney Plus. No, I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
Watching Disney Plus. Like,
We're going to live stream us watching Disney
ton of stuff to watch. All right, Doug. Shang-Chi. Um, I will start off by saying, well, let's get this out of the way right now. There's going to be spoilers ahead. It's not the opening week. We're just gonna jump right into it. We're not gonna have a
Right. Yeah.
non-spoiler spoiler side.
If you're watching this kind of podcast, then you should have already seen the movie.
Exactly. Unless you're,
Unlike us.
yeah.
Right enough.
This was way better than I thought it was gonna be.
I mean, I had based on the previews that we got, I
Mhm.
was pretty sure it was going to be good. But yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's up there. I like it way better than Black Widow. Which, if you were to ask me
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah,
beforehand, which one of those two I would prefer, I'd be like, oh, totally Black
yeah,
Widow. But no, after seeing both of them, I'm like, yeah, Shang-Chi.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. I thought I'm just gonna throw out the praise real quick here. I thought Simu Lee was awesome as Shang-Chi. He's a great leading man. I thought they did a really good job with the bad guy, the Mandarin, I guess,
Yeah.
from the comics. I thought his story, he was very another relatable bad guy. I thought
Hmm.
Aquafina did a great job of balancing, the humor with the action and everything.
Right.
Which is
Yep.
something that Marvel excels at. I wonder if they have like a humor balancing guy out there who's like, okay, one more joke, all right, one less joke, yeah.
Maybe. No.
uh, and the action was amazing, right? Those, those fight scenes
Yeah.
were pretty amazing. So what do you
There
think,
was some
Doug?
pretty great. Yeah, this was. Yeah, it was a really good movie. Really a lot of fun. I would equate this to like a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume One type level of good. It had that same kind of feel.
Yeah,
There's some really great action, some really funny moments, really compelling story. Although bad guy in this one was way better than the bad guy in
yeah,
Guardians One.
yeah.
Um,
Definitely not one
Here
dimensional.
we had, yeah, and it's funny because it's this was despite the amount of action in this, it was a very story driven and a very personal journey for the characters. It's funny because, and I think this is, I'm trying to think, when we were kids,
Hmm.
our era of when we were kids was like the heyday of, or maybe the tail end of the heyday of kung fu movies.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think back. If you look back at a lot of kung fu movies, it was a lot of fighting that really didn't have a lot of
It's like a
meaning
weak
behind it,
story and then
other
lots of
than they
action.
were.
Yeah.
Well, even then, it was the action really didn't have anything to do with anything. It's more about the character and the journey that person is on, and they
Yeah.
were, that it was the story about that one protagonist who's fighting all of these, and yet they all usually had this just overwhelming ton of bad guys, because it represents the journey that they've got to, all of the issues that are piling in on them, and the overwhelming nature of whatever's going on in their life. And they kind of captured that in this movie, where it's like, he's got the weight of his past on his shoulders, and it's kind of represented by these just endless, mostly faceless goons who are really, up until the very end, the only real bad guys.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, you could go out and say this is another one of those where Marvel's got a bad guy problem. Because again, spoiler alert, we lose our bad guy by the end. He dies at the
Yeah.
end, but he's also redeemed at the end, which happens to a lot of our bad guys as well. So it's like you've always got to come up with a new bad guy, because there's no
They
real
got to throw Doom out
continuation of
there.
any.
Just throw Doom out there. There's no
Yeah,
redemption for Doom,
yeah,
and there's no killing Doom off. So.
no. Although, you got to say, you would assume that the Mandarin, there shouldn't be redemption for the Mandarin,
That's
but
true. That's true. But he was a very different character than,
all like very
you know.
different character than he is in it. Well, as was Shang-Chi.
Yeah. Even the
But I
trailers played
love
him
what
up
they did with
as
both.
irredeemable, right? So,
Yeah,
and
because they
throughout, yeah,
showed a lot of the past stuff from his past. Yeah,
yeah,
but
he's
I
yeah. This is a family movie. This is about family
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
and finding your place, right? This is so much about family. I kept thinking, that we're gonna have Fast and Furious, Vin Diesel show up, and
it's all about family.
it's all about family. But yeah, it's I like it. I like the story. Where do I belong? Someone's stretched between two different worlds, and that's basically even his dad was, right? And I was telling Doug
Mm-hmm.
on the way back from the movie, it reminds me, it's a lot like John Wick if he didn't have the, without the inner strength to hold on after his girl died, right? Someone who had a bad
Right.
past, was an assassin, did bad things, met a woman, turned it around, gave it up. She realized he could be someone different but then she dies, and where John Wick kept it together, he didn't,
Yeah,
right? And then yeah, so like again, very relatable bad guys. So
yeah.
uh,
I mean, we did have the. I don't. How did John Wick's wife die? I don't.
she was killed by, or I think she was killed by assassins, I believe. But it wasn't until his
Yeah.
dog died
So
that he snapped. So that's how.
right. Yeah. So it's like he loved his dog more than his wife. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it was the last piece of her.
But yeah.
He had a piece of her, like that she gave him the dog.
Oh right.
So it was
Okay.
the
Yeah.
last thing. So if John Wick didn't have that, you see what he did. He went on a revenge mission, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
hey, that's kind of what happens here.
Just a dog.
Right. Yep.
Plus, he's
Although
being
he
influenced
didn't-
by the true bad guy of the story, the Watcher in the Dark. So,
Yeah.
for those of you big, way back Marvel comic fans, the Watcher in the Dark is a Doctor Strange bad guy who, in the comics, looks more like Cthulhu than. In here, he looks like kind of like a Cthulhu dragon.
Yeah.
So,
And the in the comics,
Mhm.
didn't he like he was gonna destroy the universe until like the Dark Phoenix, like, or the Phoenix,
yeah,
kind of like did some kind of, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't remember
so they locked him
exactly,
away, like
but some,
I think it was like I said, you said the Dark Phoenix beat him in the comics or whatever, locked him away, but he was always like a Doctor Strange bad guy up until then. But now, I kind of like they kind of added him in here, you know, Because let's be honest, Shang-Chi doesn't have the strongest comic book gallery of bad guys because he's not superpowered in the comics. And really he wasn't in this either. He ends up with the 10 rings, which pretty puts him on a superhero level. But for the most part, he doesn't have superpowers.
Yeah.
He's just, I mean, he's got a little bit of
Yeah.
that mystic bit of his mom, but not,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, he's a kung fu. He knows he's been trained to be an assassin since age, 7 or 4 or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super
No,
young age.
yeah, 7.
Yeah. So
Um,
for 7 years he trained like with some of the best. So I will say I like some of the surprises in this, like the Trevor Slattery bit.
yeah. Yeah.
The callback. There was 2 callbacks to Iron Man 3. If you notice in the fighting arena, before they go into the main arena, on the side there's like little cubicles of like fighting groups. Somebody in there had the Extremis virus. It was glowing all red.
Yeah.
That's from Iron Man 3. And then Trevor Slattery from Iron Man 3, who posed as the Mandarin. Which it's just a great, and continuation of that character. It was just total humorous, but it was good. I liked he was added in there.
Yeah. Oh my god, his stuff was so good. I saw like how his inspiration for becoming an actor was Planet of the Apes,
Planet of the Apes, because he thought the
where
apes
he wondered how they taught the apes to
act so well.
do all the things they did. They're like, that's acting. He's like,
if they could teach
I
an
knew
ape
I
to act
wanted to
that
do
well.
oh my gosh, it's so good.
So good. Yeah, it just.
Yeah, he was amazing in this. Everybody was.
Yeah.
I can't think of a character in this movie I did not like.
Right. And I honestly, I was afeared of Aquafina being like, kind of throwing it too far humorous, right? But I think she was the perfect balance.
You got this.
Thank you.
I think she was the perfect character because Shang-Chi is kind of straight man, right? He's kind of,
right,
and then he needs that sidekick,
right,
to push him in that. So I thought she was awesome in this. And his sister, who I was like, man, I want to see more of her story, and then we get the teaser at the end.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay,
scene.
I guess we'll get more of her story. She's rebuilding the 10 rings. So
I love it that she's basically turning the 10 rings into Fight Club.
Yeah.
Oh, not Fight Club, because they live stream it all.
They live stream it all, exactly. They tell people about their Fight Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did think that the thing with Wong and Abomination cooking up their fights was pretty fun.
Now we know how Wong makes his money by bogus fights in the the fight ring with the Abomination. Okay.
Yeah.
Sidetrack here, little Hulk sidetrack. One of the end credits, we get to see Bruce Banner.
The mid-credit scene, yeah.
Not Smart Hulk. Bruce Banner.
Yeah, not Professor Hulk. He's Bruce Banner.
And his arm is in a
still
sling.
In a sling.
And we get to see the Abomination, who both of those characters are going to be in the She-Hulk series. We know. Abomination, however, may not be the bad guy that we think he's going to be in this. Right? Because he's friends with Wong. Right.
Yeah, he seems.
I love that Wong's being used
like,
to kind of fuse some of these series together.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right.
Yeah, it was really great that they had, Wong as one of the sorcerers using technology to talk to Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
And Carol Danvers at the same time. So you've connected the stellar, the interstellar, the Earth-based heroes, and the mystic heroes are all connected together.
Yeah, they're all talking. Like, it's like once you've gone through Endgame, once you've gone through Thanos, the snap, you become close, I guess. Cause,
there's this bond that's formed now, and they're all interrelated, interconnected with each other.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think
that's great. So I think that it harkens. I love how this stood on its own, and but yet still felt connected to the larger
Mm-hmm.
MCU. Another thing, and we kind of brought it up in a discussion earlier, is I love. It's hard not to compare this with Iron Fist because
Oh,
they were so connected in
yeah.
the comics, right? Maybe not as much as Iron Man and Power Man and Iron Fist, Luke Cage and Iron
Mm-hmm.
Fist, but in any of the Kung Fu comics, right? Shang-Chi had run-ins with Iron Fist because they're both mystic heroes. They're both from They both had ties to mystic
The
cities,
martial arts
the
background
martial
and
arts
Mystic Cities
background.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then you look at some of the things like they did a Mystic City in this movie, and you compare that to how they do the Mystic City in the series, and you're like, okay, it's like night and day. You know,
Yeah.
this is how you
Right.
do it right. Uh, yeah, this is how you do kung fu right. This is how you do a mystic character, martial arts character right. And just sad that Iron Fist got the
Yeah.
shaft like that, because I would
Yeah.
love to have a good Iron Fist and Shang-Chi team up. That would
Yeah.
just be
Yeah. It'd be pretty cool.
crazy. And we got a chance to redo. We got to redo because that's we got soft reboots on those, right? We're bringing
Yeah.
some
True.
of those characters, the good characters, in to the MCU, like
Mm-hmm.
um, Wilson Fisk and Charlie Cox is Daredevil and Christian Ritter. So we can do a
Oh, right. Yeah.
soft reboot on some of the others. But okay, so I don't know. Any last thoughts on Shang-Chi?
One more positive, I think, was the world building in this.
Mm-hmm.
We continued in Macau with the world building of the underworld,
Yeah.
where you had like I said, underworld fight club with superpowered people in it, which was cool. Um, and yeah, it's that, and then the Mystic Realm. Both were very well done. The Mystic Village, where his mom came from and stuff, all super well done. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty excited. Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty thrilled with what we
I
got.
love that when he met his mother, that whole Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon feel to that fight.
Yeah,
It was just
yeah,
it was
yep.
awesome. All right, there we go, guys. That's pretty much gonna do it. I guess how we'd rate this thing out of 5, I'd give it a 4 out of 5. This is an upper tier. I mean, I would only put this behind the greats, right? Your Civil Wars, your Winter Soldiers, your End Games, right?
Yeah.
I would, but
Um,
that tier, I would put it just below it.
yeah,
Like you said, up
I
there
would
with
agree.
Guardians 1 and in that kind of
Yeah,
stratosphere.
yeah. In that sense, yeah. Here's the thing: is where I rank those movies does not necessarily equate to how I rank them in how good they are, as far as
Yeah.
how well done they are versus how much I enjoy them. This I'm going to put at a 4.5. And while it's not going to be in my top 5 of all Marvel movies, I super enjoyed this movie. I haven't enjoyed a movie this much since I don't even remember what was the last Marvel movie we got
Black Widow.
before everything went black. Well, okay, before Black Widow,
Before Black Widow
Spider-Man?
was Spider-Man.
Homecoming.
Yep.
I mean, I liked Homecoming, but this was more fun than Homecoming.
It was.
in
It
my
was.
opinion.
Like I said.
And there was this was just very well put together. The story flowed very well. I know a lot of people might have an issue with all the flashbacks, but I think the flashbacks fit perfectly into the story and where we were going, and I never felt like they detracted from the momentum of the story or anything like that. So
Yeah.
I think this was a super solid, well put together movie, and so 4.5 for me.
Yeah. And the way they handled the Mandarin, a problematic character at best, they did an awesome job with it, right? After everybody thought they fumbled it in Iron Man 3, and they didn't just discount Iron Man 3. They steered into it, So.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. So there you have it, folks. 4.5 stars. This is Grizzled Geek approved. Go check out Shang-Chi. I will say, Doug, one thing, anything we saw some trailers that You said you got more excited for Eternals after the Eternals trailer.
I had watched that one already, so but man, it looks amazing on an IMAX screen.
Seeing a Celestial in IMAX, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I can't wait.
Yep. Yeah. So super excited for that one.
And how do you feel about Dune? Is it?
Oh,
You're the big Dune fan.
it looks incredible. It looks, they're gonna keep. It looks like they're gonna keep the spirit of the books, which means I have a feeling this one's gonna end with. It's probably gonna end with Paul reuniting with Gurney. I'm imagining. I mean, maybe it'll go all the way to the whole. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah,
as far
we'll
as
see where it
I
goes.
know they're splitting it up, and maybe not splitting it up along the lines of the book, because realistically, the book one is actually like two parts of a story.
Yeah.
Could almost be two different books. So
it's
I'm
Dune.
excited to see what they do.
It goes Dune, Children of Dune, Dune Messiah. Is that the first three?
Although no, Dune, Messiah, Children
of Doom. Okay, I've always mixed those second and third one up because that's as far as I've gotten. I've read the first three.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's essentially all of Paul's life.
Right.
Then there's a big break. You skip 1,000 or 10,000 years into the future.
Yeah. At that point, you're like, okay, I'm done. I got Paul's story down. I'm I'm good to go. Okay. All right, folks. So looks like we're gonna cut this one in here at about maybe close to a half hour. So again, thanks for watching, guys. Tuning in to the Grizzled Geek Podcast. We'll be back again with live podcast next week instead of the pre-recorded ones that we have this week. So stay tuned for that. Be sure to look out, mark on your calendar for our 100th episode, live episode. It's gonna be awesome. Also, if you guys are into gaming, we got a pre-recorded review of the Stormcast Eternals Battle Tome over on the Podcast to Glory on the Grizzled War Master, link down below. And if you want to support us in the things that we do here, there's some links down below. You can click on, become a patron, buy our merch, shop through our Amazon affiliate link. We appreciate it, guys, but the biggest thing you can do for us is like, subscribe, and share with your friends. All right. Any last words, Doug?
Definitely. Nope. Oh, yeah. Skip Venom. Looks stupid.
Gonna be, you got to see it, Doug, just so you can review it. I think people want your review of Venom.
I know.
You just got to see
painful. It's gonna be painful. God, this trailer was awful.
Yeah. Can you imagine? And they didn't do it any favors. They didn't steer into what they should have because it's only 90 minutes and it's PG-13. You're gonna do Carnage PG-13 in 90 minutes. It's just.
I mean, those are pretty graphic scenes of him,
Yeah, but
tongue raping those people.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Plus, it's no longer like a suit they wear around themselves. I don't know. His entire anatomy changes when they join a symbiote. He has a big hole through his chest. It doesn't matter. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you purposely made those.
Yeah. You're like, what the hell? But all right. Anyway, guys.
Anyways,
we'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. See you later.